What's up, guys? LQ here with the announcement that Nightmare on Elm Street is returning with the reboot, probably a reboot. Um, I wanted to give my top 5 choices to play Freddy Krueger. I'll start with number 5, that admittedly is a long shot, and then I'll go 4, 3, 2, and then 1. All right, here we go. So number 5 is obvious. Robert Englund, right? He's Freddy. I'd love to see him come back. I would love to see him come back and play Freddy again. Now, maybe if it was animated, it would make it, that would be an obvious choice. Live action, I think there'd be a lot of challenges in that, and it would probably be a case of there'd probably be some deep fake and stuff like that, and CGI and stuff like that. So using Robert Englund obviously is a huge long shot. Probably not going to happen, but I have to at least put it out into the world. I'd love to see him come back in some capacity, even if it's just voicing Freddy in an animated movie. All right, here we go. Number 4. This has been put out there a little bit, and that's Jim Carrey. And I think it'd be really interesting. Now, Jim Carrey is also getting a little older, right? If they're looking at starting a franchise, is he the right person to step into that role? Would Jim Carrey even want to do it? Jim Carrey is kind of a well-known pacifist, doesn't really like violence in his movies, so I don't know that he would even come and do this. But he's expressive, he's funny, he has played some dark roles before. The number 23 comes to mind. So he does have the capability of going dark and playing a role like that. I think it's a real long shot. All right, number 3. Now we're getting into some territory that I think is a little more plausible. Number 3 is Willem Dafoe. Again, older, maybe too old to start a franchise, but man, when you watch Spider-Man No Way Home, you see he's still got it. He's still got it, and he's menacing, he's expressive, he's a character actor. I think he could pull it off. And he's still, at least when he played No Way Home, he was still physical enough to be able to play the role. Again, probably a little too old to start a franchise with, but can't leave Willem Dafoe off the list because he is someone that I could definitely see putting on the hat and glove. All right, number 2 is, I think, might be the online favorite, and that's Bill Skarsgard. Again, someone who's very expressive, someone who's very emotive, someone who can go to some very dark places, and someone who has energy that can channel a young Robert Englund. I think he's a good choice. I really do. But I think the best choice for Freddy Krueger, and this is my number 1, is an unknown actor. I do. I think it's the best choice. Find someone who's unknown, someone that the average person on the street is going to have no idea who this actor is. I think that's who you need him. That's who you need playing Freddy. Someone with a lot of energy, someone who is very expressive, very emotive. I think a Broadway trained actor would probably do a great job. Someone who is very physical. I feel like if it was somebody like Jim Carrey, Willem Dafoe, Bill Skarsgård, even bringing somebody like Jackie Earl Haley, or bringing in who's some of the other people that have been tossed around for this role before. There's been other people that's been tossed around for the role of Freddy, but I think bring Kevin Bacon, right? Okay, I think if you bring in anybody like that, you're gonna see the actor before you see Freddy. Maybe eventually you'll see Freddy. If the performance is good enough, eventually you could see Freddy. You could totally cast Kevin Bacon, and maybe he does a great job playing the character, and eventually you just see Freddy. Maybe. It's a gamble. But you won't have that problem if you cast an unknown. If you cast an unknown that the average people are not familiar with at all, they're going to be Freddy. And I think that's what this franchise needs, is a fresh start using the template of Nightmare 1 and Nightmare 3 and giving us a new version of Freddy that can stand on its own, but is very much inspired by what we saw in 1 and 3. Bring us an unknown. I think that's the right call. What do you guys think? Is an unknown the right call? Or is it one of the actors that I mentioned? Or is it somebody like Kevin Bacon or somebody else that you know is not on my list? Let me know in the comments down below what you think. While you're down there commenting, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.